welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about King Solomon, the Seal of Solomon, and the Key of Solomon. So buckle up.
I've actually been wanting to do this one. I find him a very interesting character in the biblical text. King Solomon was a biblical figure renowned for his wisdom, wealth, and building projects. Particularly the first temple in Jerusalem in the 10th century BCE. He was son of King David and Bathsheba, say that 3 times fast, and his reign is often considered a high point in the history of ancient Israel. Solomon is credited for various proverbs, and he is traditionally associated with the book of Ecclesiastes, which is a book from the Hebrew Bible and the Old Testament that explores the themes of the meaning of life, the nature of human existence, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, I think King David, isn't he the one like the same David with the slingshot that killed the giant?
David and Goliath.
Yeah, David and Goliath, same one. Didn't God give him...
I'm not sure.
We're horrible with this. Okay, anyway, his rule, characterized by peace and prosperity through later accounts, suggests that his alliances and practices led to strife and division in the kingdom after his death. So he messed everything up after his death. Yep. But he was supposed to be the most wise man ever during his time.
Well, Solomon is renowned for his exceptional wisdom. According to the Bible, when God appeared to him in a dream and asked what he desired, Solomon requested wisdom to govern his people. Pleased with his selflessness, God granted him unparalleled wisdom along with wealth and honor. He's also credited with building the first temple in Jerusalem, a monumental achievement that became the central place of worship for the Israelites. It was built on the Temple Mount and housed the Ark of the Covenant. The temple was a symbol of Israel's covenant with God and became the spiritual and political heart of the kingdom. Solomon's reign was also marked by immense wealth. He expanded Israel's trade networks and formed alliances with neighboring kingdoms such as Egypt and Tyre. The biblical account speaks of his accumulation of gold, precious stones, and exotic goods, contributing to the prosperity of his kingdom. Solomon had hundreds of wives and concubines. Jesus.
Wow.
Many from foreign nations. His marriages were often politically motivated to secure alliances. However, this led to the introduction of foreign gods and religious practices. Despite his achievements, Solomon's later years are seen as a period of moral decline. After his death, his kingdom was divided into the northern kingdom Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah, a split that significantly weakened the nation.
In Jewish, Islamic, and later in Western folklore, King Solomon possessed a magic ring, just like in The Hobbit. Okay, I'm serious. And the Bible says this: it gave him various supernatural abilities, allowed him to understand and speak the language of animals, enabling him to draw wisdom from the natural world. It helped him to make fair and just decisions. It bore the symbol of the Seal of Solomon, a hexagram that was later became a powerful protective symbol in various cultures and traditions, most famously through the ring. The ring gave him the ability to command demons or jinn, binding them to him and forcing them to obey his commands, such as revealing hidden knowledge, completing labor to include helping him build the first temple, and aiding in his rule. So it's interesting, he made demons do his dirty work.
And the ring, the hexagram, I read somewhere that it's basically a pentagram.
Right, yeah.
There's also something called the Key of Solomon, which is a medieval grimoire attributed to King Solomon, though it was likely written between the 14th and 17th century in Europe. The text contains a collection of magical instructions, spells, and rituals that claim to enable the practitioner to summon and control spirits, angels, and demons, as well as perform various supernatural feats. Some of the key elements in the text being a manual of practical magic, often associated with the broader tradition of Solomon's magic, which attributes its power to the wisdom and control Solomon is said to have had over spirits. It teaches how to call upon celestial beings for protection, knowledge, and assistance in various matters. It also describes in detail how to craft and consecrate magical tools like swords, wands, and pinnacles. These tools were used in rituals for summoning and commanding spirits. The grimoire includes strict instructions on how to purify oneself before performing magic, including fasting, wearing specific clothes, and engaging in prayer. One of the primary focuses of the text is how to summon and communicate with spirits, primarily angels and demons. Rituals include invoking spirits to answer questions, provide guidance, or perform specific tasks. while also providing extensive instructions on how to protect oneself from malevolent spirits by way of protective circles, incantations, and talismans, which were important elements to ensure the safety of the practitioner while summoning or interacting with supernatural entities. The key is usually divided into two parts. The first book deals with general instructions on conjuring and controlling, while the second provides more specific rituals for summoning specific spirits and achieving specific effects, like finding treasures, gaining knowledge, or ensuring success in endeavors. Although I feel as though playing with these things is serious and dangerous, and I don't recommend it. So this is for educational purposes only.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, I actually performed some rituals. I don't think it was from the Key of Solomon, but it was a demonic book, a satanic text that wanted to that explained how to summon a demon to do your bidding. And I was such a cool gothy kid that I wanted to do this. And then I got like to the last part. It was like 10 parts. It was rigorous. It was like you have to put some silver out in the moonlight on a certain day. You have to consecrate it, blah, 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 blah. And I got to the last part and I was like, hey, wait a minute. It says in this text there's going to be an actual demon. Okay, number one, I don't want to actually see a demon. I mean, it's cool to think about and stuff, but in reality, no. You know? So I was like, I'm not going to do this. You know, and it was a wise choice, I think.
I was also a cool gothy kid, but I attended church as Christian.
Yeah. That's good.
I wasn't
Nothing wrong with
summoning
that.
demons.
And this is a Christian subject matter, although I think there are a few books that were thrown out of the Bible that deal with Solomon, you know, all the things that talk about, like him with the ring and everything. I think that's not in the actual King James Version. I think it's in the book of Ezekiel or something like that, or one of those books that aren't in the Bible. Anyway, there's a few stories meant to showcase King Solomon's wisdom, a few different versions on how he became to possess the ring. The most well-known story of his wisdom is a story about two women coming to him, both claiming to be the mother of the same baby. The King Solomon decided to make an offer to cut the child in half so both women would have equal shares of the child.
Ew.
Sounds fair, right?
No, that's awful.
Knowing that the real mother wouldn't want to see any harm come to her child, and he was right. She was like, no. She can have the baby.
No,
And
I
he
wouldn't.
was-
I'd still be like, hey, don't do that, but that's my kid. Like, that story doesn't make sense to me, but okay. Another story on how he came to possess the ring that I personally found interesting was a family friend of Solomon comes to him complaining of being tortured by a demon. Solomon tries to help this friend and prays that God will put the enemy under his feet. In response to the prayer, God sends an angel to Solomon with the ring, granting Solomon power over the spiritual realm. He then used the ring to summon all the principalities of the world, to interview them all on what they hate, what casts them out, and what angel is over them. He kept a record of all of it, and he also enslaved them to build the first temple.
Wow.
One of the highest ranking entities he enslaved as a stonemason, he entrapped in a brass lamp, which is where the legend of the genie comes from.
Interesting. I think that's where the Masons come from, too. The lodge or order, you know, secretive lodge.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, that came out of that. Later, when he married the Queen of Sheba, he had to worship Moloch. And while he did his best to resist this, basically to marry Sheba, she wanted him to worship Moloch. And he was like, no. And then he was like, okay, you know, I really like you. I think I want to do this. So he worshipped Moloch, and he like did a sacrifice, and God left him. He was like, you're dumb.
Like the moment he
Yeah.
sacrificed,
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. I don't know why it says he's wise. Taking away all his protection and leaving him in this with the spirit world at his doorstep.
And angry.
Luckily, he had all this wisdom from all the spirits that he had interrogated. So he used that to his knowledge to stop them from attacking him, because they all wanted a piece of him, you know.
Well, all this time he's like enslaved them and everything. I can see where they'd be angry.
But using this knowledge, he created what is known as witchcraft today. So that's what a lot of people believe. I'm not saying that's true. It wasn't long after that before his kingdom fell.
So the moral of the story is, don't let you wanting to get laid ruin everything for you.
Right? That's what happened. He was like Queen of Sheba, you know. lose my power, maybe. And God was like, you're dumb, you're losing your power and you're in trouble. So, yeah, well, that was the story of, I think we did a good job at explaining King Solomon and the ring. And yeah, so it was.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.